What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Thomas Take Sports Podcast, brought to you by yours truly, Ryan Thomas of MyFantasySportsTalk.com, RockSportsNetwork.com, and obviously Thomas Take on Twitter at Thomas Takeover. Feel free to tweet me, follow me, whatever you want to do, however you want to, interact with the show. Comment in the comment section below on YouTube, comment on Twitter, comment on Facebook. Whichever you prefer, whichever avenue you prefer to use. You can also follow me on Instagram at Ryan_Thomas31. Feel free to do so. I've been posting a lot on there in my Instagram story, and it's very addictive. You don't realize it until you do it a few times. It's like, man, I posted like 5 or 6 stories on Instagram today. Similar to Snapchat, but it's a little bit better. I can interact with more people on there. I like Instagram. I like taking photos. It's just a lot better. Snapchat, there's always people adding you that you barely even know. It's just it is what it is. But wanted to pop on here today to talk to you, the Thomas Take listeners, about my top stardom, sit-em for week 1 of fantasy football. Obviously, I've wrapped up my four, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 fantasy football drafts. I'm very, very happy to finally be done with my drafts, with my teams, coming to the conclusion of the fantasy baseball season, locked in the number 1 seed. I was in the number 1 seed the entire season, and now we're in the fantasy baseball playoffs. But realistically, I wanted to give you guys a clear idea as far as who you should start, who you should sit come week 1, come Thursday. So I have a lot of teams. Obviously, no team is the same, but there are some matchups out there that I really like. There are some players out there that I really like, and one of those players, in case you haven't seen yet, is Patriots wide receiver Chris Hogan. Chris Hogan is owned in 82% of leagues according to Yahoo Sports. It should be 99%. But I think it'll be 99 within the week. Maybe all the drafts aren't done yet. But the way I look at it is Julian Edelman out for the season, tore his ACL. The Patriots acquired Brandon Cooks. The Patriots have Rob Gronkowski still in tow. And they actually have Dwayne Allen from the Indianapolis Colts that they acquired via trade over the offseason. So Tom Brady, per usual, does not have a does not lack in passing options. The past couple years he hasn't, but the majority of his career he's had some, mediocre wide receivers outside of Randy Moss. Up until that point, there weren't really many. He went 10 years, won 3 Super Bowls with Troy Brown and wide receivers that were very mediocre. Deion Branch, guys that fit the Patriots, but if they were to leave the Patriots, they would fall right off a cliff. And now they have talent. Now they have Brandon Cooks. They have Chris Hogan. They have Dwayne Allen. Rob Gronkowski was talented in college, talented in the NFL, obviously. So he has a wide variety of options. Julian Edelman was one of them. Now, Chris Hogan is definitely going to be one of those options. And the Patriots play the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday night. Kansas City is known to have a decent defense, but Tom Brady, I believe, will come out firing on all cylinders. I think Hogan is going to have a big day, big matchup for him. Another matchup, guy that you should definitely start, a guy that you should consider starting, is Paul Perkins of the New York Giants. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, man, these running backs on the New York Giants are not reliable. Rashad Jennings, the Dancing with the Stars winner, reigning defending Mirror Ball champion, he is out of the picture. Paul Perkins is in the picture now, the RB1. I really like Paul Perkins. I think people are sleeping on him. I think he's somebody that you could start. If you're somebody like me that has Ezekiel Elliott on his team, you don't know if he's going to be suspended or not. Luckily for me, I have Jay Ajayi and Christian McCaffrey. I won't be starting Paul Perkins, but if you don't have Jay Ajayi or Christian McCaffrey like I do, you should start Paul Perkins. I think that he'll be a decent option for you. Sunday night, you get a primetime matchup. I always try to kind of manipulate the schedule a little bit with my fantasy team. I prefer to have a player on prime time as opposed to a player in the afternoon. That way, if I choose not to start the player in the afternoon, I still have that one guy left to kind of determine where I'm at. It doesn't really hurt my projection to have, these later guys. You're playing from behind, but if you have Brady or if you have a starting quarterback or a starting running back or a starting wide receiver, playing late, that's always nice to have that kind of in your back pocket. Another guy that I really like this year in 2017, guy that people are starting to talk about a little bit, being that his starter is suspended, it's not Darren McFadden, is Jacquizz Rodgers of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I had Jacquizz Rodgers last year during Doug Martin's suspension/injury issues, whatever it was. I can't remember at the time, what it was. But Jacquizz is reported by RotoWorld.com to be the feature back in dress rehearsal. He carried the ball 10 times for 34 yards with one reception for 17 yards in Saturday's preseason game. I really like Jacquizz Rodgers. I think he's actually been a good running back. He had some good moments in Atlanta. Now he's in Tampa Bay. I think per the 3 weeks, first 3 weeks of the season, I think he'll definitely be a running back to keep your eye on. I definitely think that he'll be a running back that you will definitely want to take a look at and start your first week of your season. I'm not sure who Tampa Bay plays, to be honest. I got to look at that. Tampa Bay plays Miami. Okay defense, not great, not awful, but they're okay. Another guy I really like this year in terms of running backs is Isaiah Crowell, who's going to get a full workload with the Cleveland Browns. Last year he had an underrated season. Am I over the moon about him? Do I think he's better than some of the elite running backs in fantasy? The LaShawn McCoys or let's just say Melvin Gordon's? Not really, but I do think that he's pretty close. I think he's somebody that might not have the name recognition that could fall to you, that you could have drafted on your team, that you could see as a potential starter for Week 1. Really with fantasy, the way I look at it, and a kind of a key to my success as a fantasy football player, would be playing who you believe has the best chance to produce points. And it sounds simple, but so much goes into that. Matchups, timing, scheme. There's a lot of things that you do have to realize as a fantasy football player. Like if I have Jarvis Landry, I know that he might not get the most touchdowns, but I do believe that he could get return yards for me. He could get some catches, points per reception leagues, whether they're a half point or a full point, is pretty damn important. And a streaming quarterback option that you might have as a backup right now, that you should have as a starter, would be Tennessee Titans quarterback Marcus Mariota. I know Oakland has a solid front seven, but this guy has a slew of weapons around him now. Eric Decker, Corey Davis drafted in the first round, DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry. You got the 716 RB, David Fluellen. I'm interested to see if he can make an impact on the NFL roster for the Titans. He made the 53 straight out of my hometown of Lockport, New York, out of Toledo. Had a very productive career at Toledo. Would have definitely done bigger things at Toledo had it not been for, I believe it was a foot injury, a nagging foot injury to say the least. I think he had a knee issue as well. Not sure though. I could be wrong on that, but I'm interested to see what he brings to the table if we see any glimpses of him. And obviously, you have a lot of other players over the course of this season that will be producers. One guy that I feel like has kind of been completely slept on, and it's probably due to the fact that he has had the injuries that he has had over the course of his young career, is Amir Abdullah. Theo Riddick is a PPR guy, but Amir Abdullah is a true unique physical running back that I think has real interesting attributes. Great acceleration. He can run right through the hole. As soon as a hole opens up, great vision for a running back. That's something that is completely underestimated. Vision, timing, spacing, using the right move at the right time. Amir Abdullah can do that, and I'm very excited to see what he can do. And in terms of the future, I think Detroit is slated to have much success with their offense, with Golden Tate, with Abdullah, with Theo Riddick, with Marvin Jones, and obviously having Matt Stafford back, on your team, for the long haul. I think signing him, locking him up, regardless of whether he's overpaid, underpaid, he's done wonders for the Detroit Lions franchise. Obviously, they haven't won a Super Bowl, and the winning record, whatever they show, the graphic, 5-46, it is what it is. He was drafted first overall. He's been a key contributor to their team. Without him, they would be practically nothing. So the way I look at it is, yeah, he might not be Aaron Rodgers. He might not be Tom Brady, but he's in the Matt Ryan conversation. I'm willing to give him that. He's in the Derek Carr conversation, and that's important. This guy sweats his butt off, blood, sweat, and tears for the Detroit Lions. We all remember when he tore his shoulder or separated it and stayed in the game. The guy is a true warrior at the quarterback position, and it's a throwback to the John Elways, the Jim Kellys, the Dan Marinos of yesteryear, in comparison to today. So if you do have Stafford, that's nice. I like Stafford. If you have Andrew Luck, that's not nice. That's not good, because Andrew Luck is probably going to be out for a little while. If you don't have a backup quarterback to Andrew Luck, I do like Sam Bradford going up against, I believe he is going up against the New Orleans Saints. That's as good a matchup as you could possibly get. Monday Night Football, Sam Bradford, Drew Brees going toe-to-toe. More importantly, Adrian Peterson playing his old team for the first time as a New Orleans Saint playing the Minnesota Vikings. I like Sam Bradford week 1, Monday Night Football. You'll get that late matchup. Plus, New Orleans' defense is really, really bad. So I do like that matchup. I'm Ryan Thomas. That was my stardom, sit-em for week 1 of the fantasy football season for 2017. Good luck to everybody that's playing. You don't have to wish me luck because I don't need it. Take care.